could basically split up your rent payment over the course of the month.
Boom split. Yeah, so boom split is so great because what happens is, all this new research is coming out in the rental space. We're heading towards a landlord market. And what we are seeing is rent is skyrocketing, but our pay in the United States is staying stagnant. So as that increases and our pay is staying stagnant, renters are having a harder and harder time budgeting their money because what a new article just came out and suggested is that 60% of someone's monthly income goes to rent. So if your rent is due on the first and let's just say you didn't budget for that in the month prior, you actually wouldn't have enough money today to pay your rent with just one of your paychecks.
Exactly.
And that is, that becomes really difficult because now you're forced in the prior month to budget that over. And I mean, I think there's so many people that say, it's so easy to say, well, just budget better, but let's live in reality of where we are in the state of the economics today. Some people are living paycheck to paycheck. That's just where we are. And a big part of this is renters because so much of their income is going to their rent. So what Boom Pay does for these renters is once they enroll, they go through our own underwriting model, which is not a hard inquiry, which is great. And if they're approved, we're looking at a couple things. We're not really looking at your credit score because we understand, just like with the rental trade line, we're trying to increase your credit score because we know that in the past, your credit score should have been everything we need to know about you as people loan money. That's what it was designed to do. But there's more to this story these days. So we're looking at your rent to income ratio and really just making sure there is no past debt associated with your rent. I know we just came out of this, and we're not even going to be out of this pandemic where perhaps if you lost your job, you're on backdated rent. At this time, we wouldn't be able to approve anybody with any past rent payments. And then one thing I wanted to note is we actually are in early access of this product right now. So we have reached the max capacity for people that we can approve this month, but we are slowly letting people off the wait list as soon as we can approve them in. So if you get a status and you say you're on the wait list, all you have to do is apply. And as soon as we can open up the gates for you to have access to this product, we'll notify you as soon as possible.
So Boom Split is going to pay their rent in full on the first of the month. And then how long does the customer have to repay that? How is that broken out? And what does the timeline look like to repay?
Great. You can think of Boom Split as the Affirm of rent. If you have ever used Affirm, if you've ever used Affirm, PayPal Pay in 4, how it'll work is once you are approved, Boom will pay your rent on the first. We'll take care of it. And then you'll pay us half of the rent on that due date that your rent is due. And then 15 days later, you'll have your second repayment with a $20 subscription added into it. And so what that does in itself, it allows you to split up that rent payment. And now, sometimes if all of your money, if 80% of, let's just say 80% of your check is going to rent, that only leaves you 20% to budget for the rest of your bills. Because we all know, just like rent, all our utilities are also kind of fronted in the beginning of the month. So you have that rest of the money to then put towards your utilities, and then you still have to eat. You still have to
cell phone and cable and everything. Yep.
Exactly. So this just allows you to kind of manage your money a little bit more responsibly, like for you, or just better.
Yeah. No, I remember I think the statistic was like if you're after tax, take home pay basically 30%, right? So if your rent is more than 30% of your after take home pay, that was considered rent constrained, right? So you're paying too high of a proportion of your take home pay towards housing. So the fact that, there's situations where it might be 50 or 60%, just the mere fact of that, if you're getting paid twice a month from your job, you're going to need both of those checks, one of those checks in full, and then partial, the other check just to pay your rent. So I think a product like this definitely solves an issue and just gives people a little bit more flexibility, not having to worry about paying their rent late because they don't have all the money by the first to pay it off in full. So I think this is definitely a very useful product. So again, I appreciate you coming on here and just giving a little bit more insight into Boom Pay, Boom Report, Boom Split, what you guys have to offer. Any parting words, to the audience? Anything else that you wanted to get across before we wrap this up?
No, thank you for having me. I think, if anything, the last thing I want to add in is really we are trying to level the playing field for the thousands of renters in the millions of renters in the United States, and also make it rewarding. As it is, you're renting, you might as well get credit for it and apply for a product that can help you manage your money a little bit better. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to give you guys access to answer any questions that you have for me. That way you can either drop them in the comments and we'll be responding, or I'll add in a link where you can just send me some questions and I'd be happy to get back and answer them. So that's
Absolutely.
it. I appreciate your time.
Likewise, it's a pleasure. And if anyone's interested, Boom Report or Boom Split, we've dropped links in the description of the video. So definitely take advantage of having your rental payment history reporting on your credit. If you're renting, you might as well, because that data is going to help you in the long run open up more credit opportunities for you. So